What up? What up? What up? Welcome to another episode of Untouchable City Prepper. And that's right, I do snow removal. And you're right, I got my helmet on. I do snow removal in the hood. So it's a lot of dangers out here. You know what I'm saying? I go to the hood to do snow removal sometimes where people don't want to go. And yes, I do charge top dollar. And I do get top dollar. But I love when things like this happen. You know, I'm not going to say all the time. But as a prepper and as a child of God, I love when things like this happen. Because I get a chance to test my preps. So it was a snowstorm today. And honestly enough, I would say my family was about 80% ready. You know, we had enough food. We had enough, I had enough salt. You know, I went outside, I checked my generator. I got 4 generators. I got the Echo Flow. I got 2 small ones. And I got 2 Predator generators from Harbor Freight. I got a 9,000, I got a 4,000. One of my generators did not work, but my other one did, and that's why I have 2. So now I know I got to go get it kind of tightened up and get it put in the shop. But I love when things like this happen. But you saw the thumbnail. Most of y'all are going to die. Most people are going to die in a grid down situation. And as a prepper, you got to just understand that. You know, it's unfortunate, and this is a rough conversation. But in a real grid down situation, especially when you got a family, it's gonna be the biggest thing when collapse happens is people are going to try to save everybody. People are going to try to save everybody they can. They're going to be like, yo, you should give me some of your food. You should give me some of your water. You should give me some of your gas. Hey, you know, we'll figure it out. You know, like I have 4 generators. You know, there are people in my family and friends who make way more money than me. They don't have a truck. They don't have a plan for their family. They don't have enough ammunition. They don't have weapons. You know, they don't have a water filtration system. You know, they don't have enough food stored up. You know, so in a real grid down situation, the hardest thing I believe you're going to have to do for an extended period of time is not to give away your supplies. You know, I'm out doing snow removal right now, so I thrive in a crisis situation. You know, everybody in my family know I got 4 generators. Now, I'm not giving up my generators. You know what I'm saying? I'm not giving them up. I might sometime I loan out one for a high price. You know what I'm saying? But these are tough conversations, but more than likely I'm gonna keep all 4 of my generators. Cause like what happened today, you know, shit, one of them didn't work. You know, I couldn't get it started. Now I got the other 2. I got the Echo Flow in my house. If y'all don't know what that is, I highly suggest you guys get it. It's a great $1,500, $2,000 investment. I think everybody should have one actually, you know. But, you know, most people are too caught up in driving a Mercedes Benz, or, you know, black people are too concerned about the newest Jordans, or trying to look fresh for who's going out on Saturday, you know. But most people don't even have a secondary power source in their family. They don't have a plan of attack. But if you got a family, man, this should be essential. This should be in your plans, you know. But the biggest thing is gonna be not giving away your supplies, man. Not giving away your supplies. A lot of people gonna want you to give away your supplies, man. And you got to figure out how much can you help people without putting yourself in a compromising position. You know what I'm saying? You know, and that's gonna be something, you know, I'm working on implementing with my family. And it's gonna be tough because I got a lot of older people in my family. So it's gonna be tough, man, but I typically keep about 10 cases of water. And I had enough water. I was down to about 6 cases, and then I think I got like 2 or 3 in my garage. My emergency, my backup for my backup, as I like to say it. And you as a prepper, you always need backup for the backup. You know, you always need backup for the backup. I'm gonna say it again. You need backup for the backup. Okay? You need a plan A, B, and you need a C. Because you gotta remember, you're going into a grid down situation. Grid down, you know. So we thinking there's no water, there's no gas, you know, chaos is hitting us, you know. And these snowstorms is the closest thing we gonna really have to it, you know. And winter poses a bigger threat, because when it's cold, you could die. Heat, you could die too, but when it's cold outside, man, cold is the ultimate equalizer. You know, cold causes problems with your cars, all kind of stuff, man. Cold, anything wrong with your car, the winter is gonna show it. The winter is gonna show it. Anything, cold temperatures, gonna show what's wrong with your car. You know, and that's part of the reason why I used to always buy my cars. I used to say, man, I never have a car note. But I'm still not against owning cars, because I do see both sides of it. But like, I work in my truck, and I'm always doing stuff in my truck, and I saw that I was really losing more money in maintenance with having a used car than I was a new car. Because my truck used to stay in the shop, man, all the time. My truck used to just stay in the freaking shop, man. And like, between calling off of work and losing money in my business, it was like, having a car that's functional shouldn't be a luxury. You know, and I know everybody don't have money for a high-end lease. I get that. But I will say, unless you're somebody that's retired, or you don't have to drive long distances to work or something like that, or, you know, I'm pro lease, man. I'm pro lease if you can afford it. Because one thing I know about my Ram truck, all I got to do is get in and hit start, and this motherfucker start. Shout out to Stellantis, man. I love my Ram truck, man. I still like my F-150 because I had an F-150, but I got to be honest, man. Ram takes the cake. I can't speak on, I never had a Chevy truck, and I never had a GMC truck. But I will say, man, I love my Ram. I did have to change the tires to all-terrain, so that was like a $2,000 investment, but it's well worth it to me for safety because I'm never worried about the terrain that I'm on. You know, I just know that, hey, if I need to, I can put it in four-wheel drive. I'm driving in four-wheel drive right now just for the safety aspect, but most of the time, man, I'm pretty much cruising, bro. I'm pretty much cruising majority of the time. You know, I'm cruising majority of the time, bro. You know, I need to stop and get some gas right now. I might go ahead and do that. Yeah, I might just go ahead and do that, get it while I'm in the city. But, yeah, man, most people are going to die in a grid down situation. In a real grid down situation, you know what I'm saying? Because they just not prepared. And a lot of times, there ain't really too much you could do to talk to people to get them ready for things they don't see. You know, too many people are concerned about, you know, trying to look fresh or drive a fancy car. Nobody think about situations like this. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, this is Untouchable City Prepper. I love y'all with the strength of Christ. Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully this wakes up somebody to get better at prepping. God bless.